Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's go together to protect and grow our money. Hi everybody, it is Wednesday, July 16th. We've got 10 tickers to review. I didn't do a video on Sunday because I was out of town, so let's get started right now. 10 tickers, starting off with the SPY from last week, Wednesday last week. You can see my annotations here indicating that there is a loss in momentum depicted down here on the RSI. And you can see that the price action up here has been mostly sideways. There is this zone of resistance down here below the trend line. Trend line we're talking about is this one here going across. I feel that that is still the case. Despite today's price action, where price opened the day down below, you can see how price, let's see, today is Wednesday. Yep, so it opened, hit the trend line, and then used it as support to come back up, okay? On the second hour, it actually dipped below, and it used it as support. But overall, my prediction remains unchanged. I feel this is just retail investors buying back in, thinking that this is a good area to buy in, when in fact, the momentum down here shows a reduction in purchasing by the big sharks and whales. All right, that's the SPY. Let's switch to triple Qs. Triple Qs, I've made a couple annotation changes since last Wednesday. I dragged out these lines here just to show the further progression of where there might be resistance. Similar to the SPY, the momentum continues to go downward, whereas price goes upward. So my prediction is unchanged. It's further low prices. This is just sideways action. Don't get sucked in, okay? It's not the time to buy. If anything, it's the time to get out of your positions, take your profits if you're going long. The 200 days down here, you see this blue line here? And I just added the annotation just to drag it out a little bit. I do feel that triple Qs will come back down, test the 200 day. From where we are right now, down to the 200 day, it's about 8% move. Not huge, but that is the general direction. So there will be a bounce off the 200 day. It might come back up, hit the 535 zone and then continue its progression downward. Okay, momentum is to the downside for triple Qs. So this is not the time to go long. Switching now to GDX. GDX is behaving as I expected. The main point was the retest. So this candle and then these three candles afterwards. So the red one and these three green ones continue to test this thick black trend line. Okay, and I put that this would be resistance. This trend line would be resistance, and indeed it has been. Price came down, nice sell day here, and then the retest, 1, 2, 3, 4 candles retesting this trend line, okay, which goes parallel to this thick one. And you can see that the movement yesterday, Tuesday, and today, Wednesday, is essentially sideways. Still, prediction remains unchanged, still downward price action. This is not the time to go long. Okay, so I'm just sliding everything over because it's not the time to go long. And let's just kind of zoom out a little bit, get a feel for where the other areas of possible support. There may be support along this thick black line here, right here. So there may be a bounce there, and we'll have to see how the RSI looks when we get there. Right now, the RSI is still being played out with this bearish momentum. So it's just continuing. There may be support as well along the purple trend line and at the 200-day down here. So right now, just further low prices for GDX. Okay. Let's switch to MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy has reclaimed this thick black line. You can see all this price action down here had some bearishness. And then price over the past 4 days, 4 trading days, reclaimed and has stayed above it, above this thick black line. So then you might say, okay, well, it's time to go long. You know me, I'm often wanting to think ahead of how price action would take place. Right now, I added this long red line here, showing bearishness going back all the way from early May to today. And you can see the RSI is going downward here, whereas price action continues to go upward. Okay. I could even add an additional, let's add an additional one here, like that. Okay. That shows even on the past 3 days, bearishness right there, and then this overall bearishness from back here. So what does this mean? Well, for the time being, I need to modify my chart. This is no longer, I'll call it a zone to deal with. This horizontal thick line. It's out of the picture right now, as is this annotation. Instead, we need to look at where the next area of resistance will appear. And it will appear up here. So that's annotated like this. Okay, make it red, pink. Okay, so that's the next area of resistance. All of this is lower momentum, okay? The sharks are really, they're saying it, but the price action isn't showing it. It will. Just don't get too excited to buy in, to go long. They may even poke it up above here. See how they did it over here along this trend line right here. They pushed it upward, and then you can see that the momentum change took place right there. But from where we are now, we're about, from here upwards, we're about 2-3%, 4%, not a lot. And you know how MicroStrategy moves. It moves, 4% is par for a day. So it could be up there by tomorrow. Again, it's not the time to buy. Okay. Let's switch to Microsoft. Microsoft has been moving a little bit upward, right? You can see it's just kind of inching its way along this trend line. And I talked about how this would be resistance along this trend line. This is no longer in play because of the price actions over here. In fact, let's get rid of this dark black one as well. Clean things up just a little bit so we can read the chart a little bit more cleanly. All right, so what I see is a little bit of this. Make that black. All right, so it's kind of like this. All right, now, while this is upward price action, you can see RSI continues to extend to the right, lowering a lower momentum. So momentum decrease, price action increase. It's divergent. This is the area where we expect price to fail. I'm going to put an alert here for myself because I'm going to watch it as a possible short entry on bar close. So what I'm going to do is, all right, so I put a alert along this lower trend line. When price closes below it, then it will send me an alert. And my short entry would be along this red. So it's possible they'll gap it underneath, but when it comes up to hit it again, that would be the short entry. Okay, with a target. Let's see, target. Yeah, target through the gaps here down to the 200-day, about 14% move. So we'll have to see when it will begin. All right. And these gaps are not huge, so I'm going to get rid of them as well. Let's get rid of them. I talked about it last time, that they're not huge. This is the big gap that will get filled down here. And then I'm just going to extend this just for consistency. All right, like that. Okay. That's Microsoft. On to NVIDIA. You can see NVIDIA's price action has moved up a lot. In fact, it's moved up a lot, and it keeps burning through the divergence. So I'm going to draw another circle here to acknowledge that the movement of the price action against the RSI is messing up my the way in which I make annotations and discuss my analysis, because it's gone through it. It's no longer, it's invalidating it. Maybe that's the right word, invalidating my thesis. So then, you should question, well, then what is your next prediction? Well, my prediction is unchanged because I don't feel there's bullishness. So what we see is price action continues to move up, and the RSI is getting invalidated. My technique of saying, look at the divergence in the momentum against price, it's getting invalidated because momentum is going upward here. But it's going upward not from underneath the RSI. So usually when I annotate a change in momentum, so let's look here as an example. So this one, no, that's just price action. Let's go back further. Look at Microsoft at okay, here. So you can see this is, what time period is this? All right, this is 2023 September timeframe. September timeframe, you can see all this sideways price action. Okay, it's moving in this zone between $40 and $50. Okay, it's just bouncing up and down. At this point right here, you can see that price is going lower here. Okay, just make it black, and I'm just trying to prove a point. But then while it's going downward on price, boom, here's the change in momentum on the RSI. And why is this significant? It's because as soon as that took place, which is essentially off of this purple trend line, price has been going upward. See that? Okay, that's the key point, is when RSI changes take place, then it could be a long move, and the move started down here. So from here, $40 to, I don't know where it was here, all-time high, about 286%. Okay, it's a huge move. But my point is, it has to take place. The bullish move has to take place on the bottom side of the RSI. So where we are over here, though the price action looks bullish, the RSI down here has not shown a bullish move, okay? Hence, I'm not going to change my prediction. I'm just going to slide everything to the right because it's just a change in timing. Move everything to the right. Still downward price action, price movement. That's my prediction. Okay, so for NVIDIA, further low prices, it's just a matter of when. It's coming. It's coming. I wouldn't advise going long. Now, there are those of you who might say, well, this trend line up here, right, this one right here, let's make it a little bit thicker. We'll talk about it. There's a touch here, lots of touches here, getting rejected, touching it here, getting rejected. So that's all of these data points validate that it's a legitimate trend line. And all of these data points showed that it was obvious resistance. Now, suddenly, it touched it here, it was resistance. Suddenly, in the past 2 days, price has overcome this resistance and is sitting up here. So you might argue, you might say, your argument will be, well, it took something for price to move above that trend line. There's resistance, there is now support. It pushed its way through, and that trend line is now support. And I might agree with you a little bit, because I would say, and I am saying, that the volume indicator down here isn't high. It's not like it pushed through it with a lot of oomph, right? Like a linebacker hitting a quarterback. It's a thud. What you see here, this is more like, a caress. It's caressing its way up there. Not a lot of volume. You can see it's essentially the same amount of volume all across here. I would expect a bigger move, like give me a spike, right? To show some conviction, okay? So like over here, this is 600 million shares, whereas today and yesterday we're at about 150, okay, 150 million. So that's not conviction. It's just price moving upward, momentum. Though it shows that the momentum, the RSI is higher, it's just up high. Okay, it doesn't mean that it's a momentum change. So, prediction of lower prices to come. In fact, if it breaks underneath this trend line, I'm going to put another price crossing down on some bar close. So that's my alert, and that would help me with a short trade. So to take the short trade, you would take it along there. Okay. So I will get rid of this one, it's out of play. Get rid of this, it's out of play. So what we want to have happen is price to come down, gap, bounce around, they'll probably gap it down. When it comes back up and hits this underneath, and that is a good opportunity from a risk-reward standpoint to take a short, like a really nice one. So I put an alert on this one as well. Let's switch to Tesla. Tesla, last Wednesday I talked about how it might come up, hit the 200-day as resistance, or they may even push it all the way up here to this 326 zone and make that resistance. So my prediction is unchanged. That's still the direction. You can see that they did push it back up, and it's up here. So I can remove this. This is no longer in play. But my next annotation stays. It's still lower prices for Tesla. Okay. Resistance there, resistance here. Okay. Switching to Palantir. Palantir has tons of RSI divergence down here, momentum divergence. In fact, it continues, okay? With the price action over the past few days, it continues. So I'm going to get rid of a few annotations. Get rid of that one. This one's gone. So you should say, you should ask me, well, are you changing your prediction? I am not. This purple trend line is a key one, okay? It's a key one because it goes back a long time. And I'm just going to extend it some more. When you have a trend line that's been around for a long time, then one would expect a price to use it as support or resistance. All of this price action here, from middle of June to this big red candle, which was end of June, middle of June to end of June, all this price action above the purple trend line wasn't very much volume. See this down here? About less than 100 million a day. And then on the sell day, which is this one, went to 200 million, doubled. With all this subsequent price action to bring it back above the purple trend line was, look at this, on this day, 81 million, 59 million, and today, 59 million. So not a lot of volume. I would expect, if there was conviction, that'd be 150 million. Boom, give me a nice spike, right? Give me a spike like this one that I'm on right now. That's 185 million, okay? But instead, it's going up as a caress. It's not a linebacker thud. So, yeah, for the low prices, I'm looking forward to taking a short entry along this underneath side of this purple trend line. All right, that is Palantir. Let's go to the one long trade that I have been talking about. I'm still in this trade, full disclosure. And I talked about how I was going to wait to see how the price action would behave when it hit the 200-day. So price had come up through this 210 price point. And I said, okay, let's see what it does. Because I thought maybe that this 210 zone would be resistance. In fact, it wasn't. And I stayed in the trade. And I got up here and I said, okay, well, I'll see how it behaves because it may use this 210 as support. That's why I put this green line here, green annotation. But it broke down as I thought it might. And I said, okay, maybe this 200-day moving average right here would pose support. And that this would be perhaps another opportunity to take a long, or depending how it behaves, I might get out. Now, the way the price action moved today, you can see that it pushed through the 200-day by a lot. Okay, let's see what this move is from the 200-day down. All right, about 2.25%. And I'm rethinking my position because right now I'm in the middle zone. I wasn't able to get out of this trade. I think what I would have done was close this trade, take some profit, but instead I stayed in the trade. I'm still in it. So the question is, see how I drew this blue arrow downward? This was my indication that I believe prices would get lower and that the entry points to go long would be at this upper edge of this gap fill or down here. Hence, I drew this green highlight as well as the green highlight here. Now my thesis remains unchanged. It's likely further low prices. If it comes down here to this 198 zone, and I will definitely observe how it behaves, I may add to my position, okay, if it bounces, because it might. That's kind of what I'm thinking, okay? And then the most beautiful entry would be down here, along this one. And of course, we'll have to watch how the RSI changes, because it will. I think this is one of those plays where price will come up, come back down, and then continue its progression. Kind of draw it like this. Okay. With the ultimate end somewhere along this up here. Okay, so about a 30% move from here. More if you're down further. Okay, so right now this is an interim move that we're playing right here. Excuse me, we're observing carefully. But the entry point would be down here or along here. We'll just have to see how it moves over the next couple of days along this gap fill. All right. So not many long opportunities out there. Just be careful with taking longs. Right now, most things are setting up for a short, and the sharks have told us that. But this is a long opportunity when it comes back down here in this zone. Okay? I hope this was useful to you. Please give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe, share my content with your friends and family, and as always, good luck with your trades.